Okay, I want to start this video by talking about our formal language again. And as you know, the language consists of what's on page 3, pages 3 and 4 in the textbook. So we have the letters, capital letters, A through Z, that's all, the connectives, the 5 connectives, and parentheses. So for most of the connectives, there's no real trouble in making them, but the ampersand is a little trickier. And so just so we're clear, for our formal language, we have to use what's given. And so for and, you cannot use, say, something like that, or something like that, or whatever. You have to use the ampersand, so how do you make one? Here you go. Line, little loop, bigger loop. Okay, you don't have to. I've been doing it for a while, so I get fancy. But all you have to do is make something that I can tell is this guy here. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it has to be those 3 strokes. It can't be some other way of representing and. Okay, what I want to do next is look at this. So again, I want to translate, but now I want to translate from English into propositional logic. And so I'd like you to take a minute, pause the video, translate these into our formal language using pages 12 and 13, where there are other alternatives for how the connectives are used. And in these 3 examples, I've given you some trickier things to look at. So give it a try. Okay, the first one. So here we have our A statement, and here we have our B statement, and they're connected with unless. And so if you look on page 13, you can see that unless is one way of representing, or one way of using a disjunction. And the disjunction, of course, is the or. So this would be, or this is, A wedge B. Parentheses. It also can be translated. Some students like to translate it this alternative way, which is a little more complex, something we'll get into later in the semester. But some people think that it represents the meaning of what we have here better. So that is tilde B, not B, arrow A. Or we might say, if not B, then A. Some people think this represents the English sentence better than this does. Really, in propositional logic, these 2 are equivalent. We'll find that out, or we'll see how to prove that if you start with one, you can get to the other using the rules of propositional logic. So really, there's no difference. This is the simpler one. This is the answer I would expect at this stage, but this is another option. Okay, next we have though the bird is red, snow is white. Okay, so this translates as A ampersand B. A and B. So again, on page 13, you see that's one of the ways of representing a conjunction. Conjunction most often is just an and, although there are other equivalent ways of using an and in English, or using a conjunction in English, I should say. Okay, and then finally we have snow is white, just in case the bird is red. So this is, in this case we have the B first, double arrow, A. So this is one of the ways of, what we have in English here is one of the ways of representing our biconditional. And we use the double arrow for that in propositional logic.